guys doing?
Warming up for the big paper football championship.
I told you this is not happening. There's no way in hell the BCS put you two guys in the championship game of the Paper Football League.
Oh, the computers don't lie.
Yeah, well, I'm one, he's two.
I beat you both during the regular season. This makes no sense.
Doesn't matter. We had tougher strengths of schedule, and we also, beat more teams that had winning records.
I beat you two guys.
You beat Anthony like 5 times.
Do you have any other quality
Of course,
wins?
he's the only one who would show up to play these games. What is wrong? Do you know who voted in the BCS human poll? Joe Fortunato. The kid doesn't even know football. He hasn't even seen a game in his life. He went 2-5 in the picks this week. How are you trusting him? How are you trusting a bunch of computers that Matt always destroys by viruses?
Yeah, you beat both of us, but you also beat Joe twice, and Joe's winless, so that brings you down in a computer poll.
You practice. You go ahead and practice.
42, set, pike. Too far, man, too far. It's fine. Still plenty of time on the clock. See?
Missing open receivers, man. On defense.
Take a field goal.
All right, we're gonna go for the field goal. Give me them uprights.
I'm playing myself here. That is it. He has won the national championship.
No.
Here you go, Max Tribe. The BCS Paper Football Championship. Congratulations. And the the loser. Next up, the winner. Brett Carroll, the angry one.
It was a week of wild and dramatic finishes for the local teams in the NFL. We're going to break them all down for you here, and we'll start with the Jets, who for 3+ quarters looked terrible, but in the last 5 minutes found a way.
Turned everything around. Maybe a little Tim Tebow action. Comebacks late. Mark Sanchez before Tim Tebow. There was Mark Sanchez. He's come back in the fourth quarter or overtime 10 times to lead his team to victory. This is a quarterback that hasn't even been in the league for 3 years. That's an amazing stat. You want a quarterback in the final seconds to lead you to victory? Here's a shocker. Mark Sanchez. Who would have ever thought that?
But it seems like if this team could get some identity on offense, they wouldn't have to make these comebacks. They were ground and pound for a while, then they were through the air. They just looked confused for much of that game.
Yeah, you would think that going into Washington, the Jets would have something to prove, come out right away and blow this team out of the water, a team they are far superior than. They didn't do it, like you said, 3.5 minutes. They struggled, put it together finally in the end. The Sanchez-led offense, he hit Plaxico, he hits Antonio early in the game. Suddenly in the second quarter, third quarter, you didn't see that anymore. God only knows why. Maybe we could turn to Brian Schottenheimer, as always, for calling weird plays. This week they threw in another wrinkle. Rex Ryan says it was his idea to run the Wildcat more. Limited success with that. The Jets are right now trying a whole bunch of different things. They still want to be the ground and pound team. Sean Green is going to be huge going forward. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in this game. Look for him to have big weeks in the times ahead.
And these are going to be big games coming up because the Jets suddenly right back in that playoff picture. Still losing in a tie-breaking situation, but now right in that hunt.
Yeah, they're one of those 7-5 teams right in the hunt with the Titans, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Bengals. Like you said, the Jets lose tiebreakers to all of them. They're the lone men on the totem pole. But you can't ask for anything more to be in this spot for how the team struggled in the middle of the year. The Bengals, that was a huge thing. We talked about it all week. They needed to lose to the Steelers. They did. They come back a game. Now it's back to a jumbled mess. We'll see how things shake out this week. A couple of tough games for the Raiders and the Titans. Both could lose those games, and the Jets could make a little bit of hay.
And the Jets' schedule kind of looks like where they might be able to just get to 11-5 and see what happens.
Well, let's hope. Suddenly the Chiefs, they look pretty good now. They got a victory. They're playing a little bit better. Still, Jets far superior. Then you got the Eagles, the Giants, and the Dolphins. So those 3 games are going to be tough. We all know the Eagles struggles. The Giants are going to be in the playoff hunt, and the Dolphins are playing a lot better. So the schedule, which once looked very easy, now is getting a little bit more difficult, but you can't really ask for anything more. The Jets should win all those games.
But we learned this week from watching the Patriots that games that look like wins on paper don't always work out that way. The Patriots get a win over the winless and hapless Colts led by former UConn star Dan Orlovsky, but it wasn't easy. It should have been. but the Patriots found themselves in a battle in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, you looked up at the scoreboard and the Patriots were up by just a touchdown. You're like, what's going on here? But the Patriots did what they had to do. They just won the game. Doesn't matter at style points at this point. You win games, you get one of those top 2 seeds, and you're going to get a bye. We all know the Patriots are going to win the AFC East. They're just chugging along, trying to get better, heading into the postseason, hoping for one of those 2 byes. Right now, it looks like they're going to get it. Their schedule, very easy.
And speaking of a team that lacks identity, the Patriots on defense just don't look like they have anything going.
Yeah, everybody says that the Patriots turned the corner on defense. Didn't look like that way the past couple of weeks. The Patriots still struggling. Very young defense. Can Bill Belichick finally put the pieces together? We're running out of weeks here. We're running out of time. Get to the postseason. The Patriots, believe it or not, have struggled in the postseason for the past several years. If they have a bad defense and that defense plays the way they have been playing, Patriots might get knocked out early again.
And another defense that struggled late was the Giants. They were in a battle against the perfect Packers. They showed a lot of heart and I think impressed some people, but a loss is a loss. They didn't get it done late when they had to.
Yeah, I don't want to really hear about how they impressed. They're an impressive team coming off a loss. The Giants are struggling big time here. I don't want to hear how Eli is an elite quarterback and the Giants are now poised for a run. What is everybody talking about? The Giants are in a funk right now. They're struggling. They lost this game. They easily could have won this game. I actually thought they were going to win this game prior to the game. But the Packers proved that they are the best team in the NFL right now. After the Giants tied the game, they went right downfield with virtually no defensive blocks by the Giants, won the game easily, and you know what? I don't want to hear anything about the controversial calls by the referees. The Giants lost. They had their chances. They blew this one.
And we talked about Mark Sanchez being an elite quarterback down the stretch. Aaron Rodgers hasn't had to show too often that he can lead late game drives, but he did it Sunday.
You know, this one was the first time where I noticed that the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are the best team in the NFL. The way they threw the ball downfield on that drive, it's just like, wow. You just had to say wow because they went for it. Forget about overtime. They were going for the win right now. You figure the Giants are actually going to step up in that situation. Huge momentum shift in their favor. They score a touchdown. They get a 2-point conversion. What is the defense doing? That's inexcusable. But Aaron Rodgers grew up a lot in my book. Best quarterback in the NFL by far right now.
Does that Packer defense scare you, though? I mean, they've beaten everybody they've had to, but mostly because they can outscore anybody. At some point, they're going to have to get a stop in a big playoff game.
Absolutely. You know, the one matchup, they're probably going to go finish the year undefeated. I think the one time where they could lose is playing the Saints again in the playoffs, because we all know the Saints can score at will. Drew Brees is a great quarterback himself. They got a great offense. If anybody could outscore the Packers offense, it's the Saints. We talked about it. The Packers defense is bad. It's not as bad as the Patriots, but they're bad, and they let up a lot of points. In the playoffs, that's going to come back to bite them. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl.
If it could be Packers-Patriots in the Super Bowl, that could be like 63-56.
Well, there you go. The Patriots, yeah, I mean, that would be back-and-forth action. I still wouldn't watch it, though. Patriots-Packers, wow, that would be sad.
That would be terrible. Where do you see the Giants? We talked about how they're struggling, but their schedule gives them opportunities. They still have 2 games with the Cowboys. They could even win this division. Where do you see them in the playoff structure?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. They have to focus on the division. They play Dallas twice, win those 2 games more likely than not, they're going to win the division. This week in the NFC, it was like nobody played. Everybody who had to win lost. The Giants lost, the Falcons lost, the Bears lost, so the Giants didn't even lose any ground. The Cowboys lost as well. The Giants are right where they were, which is incredible at this time of year. So the Giants, they have those 2 games with the Cowboys, obviously big-time matchups, one coming up this week. Win those games, they're going to go to the playoffs, they're going to win the division, they'll probably knock the Cowboys out. But if they're going to try to settle for a wild card, I don't think it's going to happen for them.
And it's interesting because, especially in the NFC, there are so many playoff teams that are missing quarterbacks right now. That whole dynamic is going to be fascinating down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing for them was the Bears losing Jay Cutler. Suddenly the Bears are coming down. Maybe the Giants take advantage of that. Couldn't do it against the Packers. Nobody can do it against the Packers so far this year. But the Giants, this was a prime opportunity for them to take a stranglehold on the NFC East with the Cowboys losing. The Giants could have made their mark in the entire NFL by knocking off the Packers. They had their shot. This isn't like the Packers came out there and blew them out 35-0. The Giants hung with them the entire way, and in the end, the way you want it is they have the momentum. They score a touchdown, they get the 2-point conversion. What else can you ask for as far as momentum goes? You have to hold the Packers down on defense, but they couldn't do it. No overtime, they get a loss.
Speaking of the Bears, did they make a call to our favorite quarterback?
We all hear that Brett Favre is going to... This is the worst reporting ever by ESPN, saying that if somebody calls Brett Favre, he'll answer. Oh, really? You know what? If you call me, I'm going to answer. That's not saying anything. Brett Favre, stay where you are. I don't care what you're doing, hunting, fishing. Nobody cares about you anymore. Just stay retired. It's all ESPN propaganda right now.
Hey, we have a camera. If we called Brett Favre, he'd probably show up.
I think so. He would be the next host. He would do the final rant at the end of the show.
Well, we have somebody much more qualified to do the final rant in Brad, and he'll do that next here on SPL.
I want to take this time on the final rant to thank the BCS for putting Alabama and LSU in a rematch for the national championship. You know, I'm tired of touchdowns. I'm tired of excitement. I want to end the college football season on a great note. You know, with a field goal here, a field goal there, maybe a punt or two, maybe a 5-yard run somewhere. You know, 9-6, overtime. Yeah, that would be awesome. I can't wait for that game. LSU, Alabama. Wow, BCS, you got it right. And on the other hand, Oklahoma State, we all know they're the true national champions here because they would have beaten LSU. You heard it right here. We won't get to see it. But Oklahoma State would have won the game. Thanks a lot, BCS. You guys stink. That's the final rant, and that's the final take here on Sports Page Online.